Let's go Dallas Cowboys at the Pittsburgh Steelers, a little rematch from the 70s, 1995 Super Bowl. Neil O'Donnell at quarterback throwing 2 picks. This was, by the way, Pittsburgh's favored by 1.5 here. Uncle Anthony hasn't made an appearance yet. He has not made an appearance yet on Check the Mic.
Except in the comments somewhere.
Except in the comments.
Yeah.
Uncle Anthony, my Uncle Anthony, we used to go there for the Super Bowl. This may have been the last Super Bowl I went to his house back in 95. Cowboys and Steelers. Neil O'Donnell throws 2 interceptions. Who was the free safety who won the what was his first name? Brown? Was it Brown? Was the last name? Won the Super Bowl MVP. You don't remember that? You don't remember any of this. But O'Donnell throws 2 picks, and Uncle Anthony is livid. He's livid. He goes, "Oh, O'Donnell's on the take. Neil O'Donnell's on the take." Keep throwing it to Walt will know.
2 teams with the best regular season records.
How about that?
1 and 2.
Something's got to give here.
Dallas at Pittsburgh. I was thinking, like, can you imagine what the line? I was trying to find this, but I couldn't track it down in time. Can you imagine what the line for this game would have been like in August? You know?
Oh, I mean, it's in Pittsburgh, but you still have Dallas by 4 or 5.
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's Pittsburgh favored, given the start for the Cowboys and the start for the Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers by 1.5 here. It's Sunday Night Football. Is that right? Yeah, Sunday Night Football. Cowboys and Steelers. Oh, they're going to have Mike Tirico is going to do all sorts of montages of Cowboys and Steelers history. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good one.
So my initial thought is to sort of go back a little bit towards the preseason line and be like, look, Dallas is a better team than they've shown so far. Having said that, they're now banged up in addition to being underwhelming. Like DeMarcus Lawrence hurts his foot in that game. He's going to be missing for some time. He's on IR, right? Micah Parsons comes out of that game with an ankle injury that sounded more severe than it was initially feared. So they're all of a sudden missing players and banged up in addition to being not as good as they looked.
Oh, man, yeah, this is a tough one, dude. It's Dallas is banged up front, as you mentioned, but so was Pittsburgh, right? So each place where someone should be able to take advantage, for instance, look, Dallas's run defense was better against the Giants last week, but it's still not good, right? You're still not going in being like, oh, I trust Dallas, stopping the run. But Pittsburgh's had one of the worst run games in the league. Dallas had missing their 2 top edge rushers, but Steelers have, 3/5 of their original offensive line hurt, or 2/5 of it hurt. They're banged up front. And then, to me, it comes down to this whole Dak Prescott versus Justin Fields. You know, who do you trust more?
Right.
And I've been so impressed by Justin Fields. And I don't want to treat him, kind of like how we talk about Sam Darnold and, how long do you trust this? How long does it last? But even in a game where the game flow wasn't great for Fields last week, outside of the 1 fumble that I thought was avoidable, tried to do too much, Fields got them back into a game in more of a shootout type of game rather than the game managery type of game that he had the first 3 weeks of the season. I've been real impressed by Justin Fields. But when it comes down to it, I still trust Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb making more plays at the end of the day. But they're also missing Brandon Cooks this week. So we're already talking about Dak working with probably his worst group of playmakers since 2018, right? Would you agree? Since in 18 is the year that they traded for Amari Cooper. Since they traded for Amari Cooper, probably his worst group of pass catchers and run game. And so now you're down Brandon Cooks as well. It puts a lot more pressure on Dak and CD in this pass game.
I mean, without Cooks, I would agree. With him, I'm not sure. But yeah, they're banged up now in a major way. Like, they are missing some important players. The other thing is, we might experience this the following week as well, but TJ Watt going up against Terence Steele is a huge matchup in Pittsburgh's favor. And it's not like that's the only pass rusher the Steelers have to deploy.
Plus Nick Herbig on the other side.
Exactly.
Against Tyler Guyton, right? I mean, so the Steelers' defensive front has been very good this year. Dallas inconsistent in a lot of – so the problem with Dallas, the whole offseason, you get the all-in talk, a team that had some holes, and they seem to get worse in all of them. Offensive line got worse. Running game probably got worse. Playmakers, call it a lateral move, whatever you want to say there. And you felt that. I think you felt that through 4 weeks. And the other part of, so if Dallas had waxed the Giants last Thursday night, you might say, hey, maybe they are the same preseason team, right? They could beat up on those bad teams, but they didn't even do that. That was like almost as bad to me as getting beat up by the Ravens and getting beat up by the Saints. Is that this isn't the same Cowboys team that's going to, drop 30 or 40 on the bad teams and force a bunch of turnovers. Like, they don't even have that in them right now. That's the part that's why the line's 1.5 in favor of the Steelers. If the Cowboys came out and beat the Giants by 2 or 3 touchdowns like they used to, then the line's probably in their favor. But I think 4 weeks in, and there's nothing about this Cowboys team that looks like last year.
No, and as I said last week, like I still think there's something to, they were able to tighten up the run defense and stop the Giants. I do think that came at a cost, and I think the back end, even though it was banged up and like injuries were a part of that as well, I think they exposed themselves to a lot of big plays with how intent on stopping the run they were. That is concerning. Like, okay, the Giants weren't able to take advantage of it because apparently Daniel Jones can't throw deep anymore. And yeah, look, deep or generally passing has not been a huge part of Justin Fields' strength so far, but he's absolutely capable of taking advantage of some of those opportunities.
Trayvon Diggs and George Pickens head-to-head on the outside should be fun. I mean, there's some fun matchups in this one. Oh, man. Am I relying too much on priors, especially without Parsons and Lawrence by looking at Dallas here? Or the idea that I'm talking Dak getting points here on the road is the way to go.
That's the thing. My initial instinct was, Dallas is better than they've shown so far, and we've maybe over-adjusted too much for the first 4 weeks. But given how banged up Dallas is, I wonder if that's true. I'm still going to take Dallas in this one, but I don't love it.
I'll take Dallas as well. I mean, every Dallas loss, we talk about narrative stuff, and every Dallas loss brings even just more questions given the expectation. So storyline wise, it's huge. I'll take the Cowboys to cover as underdogs here on Sunday Night Football. Harry's going with Pittsburgh. Harry's going to disagree with both of us here.
Okay.
Taking the Steelers as favorites Sunday Night Football at home.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.